got another match coming up. We got a better shot for Lollapop here. I think this is going to be a much more it's not going to feel as one-sided as we've got a Popper Dragon Lollapop, a remix of the Twin 5-0 Biffler Ice Dragon facing off against Prince's Tribolt and Toaster. This is an interesting matchup. This can be a little difficult for Pr1nc3 as one of Springtron's biggest assets is being able to create space and getting those EMPs off. But at the same
time, sure.
And a lot of it too is just like this loadout from Glyph is very well designed in fighting in that range.
For sure, and especially with like Lola for Pr1nc3's current loadout is just such a hard fight, just because she is either always in the air or in the shields, ideally. So if you're not, charging around building up EMPs, that happens.
Yep. This can be a little dicey for Springtron too, because aside from explosives, there's a couple other things that Deflect can generally struggle with, and that's multi-hits and long laser beams from dragons.
Because that laser beam is really hard to fortunately have on display at the moment. So Pr1nc3 off to a really good start though, adjusting from round one. We'll see if he can keep the momentum as Glyph is continuing to put pressure on him here.
That is perfectly safe, but it's perfectly safe to block as well. Glyph, excellent movement, staying out of harm's way. This EMP charge seems to be doing little more than squat. Glyph's turn for the pressure, looking for some kind of win confirmed with that popper. If anything connects, or we get a clean deflect with that rush barrier. It's 335.
And now with Springtron at 25, unlike his brothers, Max Brass and Springman, there's no catch-up mechanic here. So Pr1nc3 is full on do or die right now. One more hit or chip damage will take him unless he gets that rush to secure the round. Oh my god.
Just that perfect little poke, as you say, do or die. He's like, I'm gonna hit this tribal. I'm pressing rush right now.
It was do or die, and he did. He saw a chance and he took it, and it paid off. So now we're going into round 3 with both players pretty well adjusted to the playstyles of the other.
Ooh! Catching that.
And absolutely denied the rush by Pr1nc3.
Smooth timing between the deflect and the first attack. Pr1nc3 also getting a really good full EMP charge early on, deflecting the dragon, disabling it, and getting some additional damage off in that moment.
And that EMP just popping off just as Lola a drop shield in order to hit, creating that opening that Pr1nc3 needed. Absolutely crazy timing.
Indeed. Pr1nc3 now with a very notable lead. That said, a clean charged popper into rush will tie things up. And you see Glyph knew it was coming. Missed the timing on the attack.
Just popped it a little bit too early.
That is not something you want to miss in a situation like this. That was the kill for Glyph. And now he's got to get just another hold. 20% of Pr1nc3's health, 200 damage in if he wants to recover, and he's not going to be able to do so in 10 seconds.
And that is round 1 to Pr1nc3. Oh, man. So I am super excited to see where this matchup goes from here after that first round. Absolutely wild stuff.
Yeah, we saw a lot of adapting, a lot of reconstructing of their strategies and approaches, a lot of good strategy going on there. Pr1nc3 managed to clutch that, but if Glyph was just a little bit faster, that first set would have been Glyph's absolutely.
100%. And I really don't think that, you know, at the start of round 2, I don't know how well Glyph could have predicted Pr1nc3 reading and adapting to what had just happened in that first round there.
Indeed, indeed. Now let's see. We've got our next stages. I feel like it's Lollipop I'd want to keep the distance, but I'd also kind of want to go in for the pressure. I respect the idea of going back to Mausoleum. Because it's very easy for...
we are going back to Mauso.
It's very easy for, as a Lollipop, unless Glyph wants to change to a character that handles, like, Pr1nc3 better, it's very easy for a close-range environment to just cause Lola to crumble. We are going to see Kid Cobra. It is going to be a change of characters coming in for Glyph. Coming in with the Pr1nc3, Popper, and Toaster.
Really interesting loadout on Cobra by Glyph. Granted, with that Popper, because of the size of Cobra's arms, those projectiles, while normally small, are so much bigger than normal, making it so much easier to hit that Springtron.
Indeed, it has so much spread and coverage. Even then, even when these arms are small, they apply a lot of pressure on a lot of players. So just putting them on Kid Cobra just makes them all that much more intimidating.
Yeah, especially for Pr1nc3 after that first round there. You know, we were just not seeing a lot of pressure by Lola. And so there it is. There's that extra little bit of pressure to go and secure that first round there.
Did you see that cancel the rush?
It was nasty. It was nasty. I was already locked into what I was talking about, and I just could not switch gears as much as I wanted to.
The perfect
that
timing
was nasty.
Of that Pr1nc3 coming out. He just waited. It's like, you're going to press it now. It's going to take this long for the rush to connect. The Pr1nc3's hitting you. And then I'm just going to follow up with a rush confirm off a Popper. Just absolutely crazy timing. Such a skilled play in order to make that happen. Absolutely, like, stole that away from Pr1nc3. A good bait there, as Pr1nc3 could not react in time. Wasn't sure when to expect the counter and ends up losing the EMP charge as a result. Out comes the rush, but you cannot catch a landing Cobra. He's just gonna dart away like a little speeding bullet. Health lead in Pr1nc3 is not anymore. 170 damage in a grab. All Glyph needs to do is get a rush, get one win confirmed. This shield pressure might be enough. It's not, but it's gonna make things even scarier for Pr1nc3 as that shield is nice and weakened. We just want to break it now. Pr1nc3 with a clean recovery, looking for one more hit. He does get it, but he's gonna trade with Glyph. We get a double KO!
Oh my god! Oh! It's not that often we get to see the trade on the double KO.
There's so much timing and there's so much involved in getting those double KOs, so when they happen, it's so good. Out comes the rush. Glyph gonna be able to safely dip out of the way.
We have this whole round reset. That counted for nobody, so Pr1nc3 effectively gets a second chance to go and bring that back in order to secure this win.
That said, after the first draw, we come into a pretty interesting situation where if there happens to be another double KO, both players gain a point moving forward. So now Glyph has the 2 win conditions. He can either take Pr1nc3 out, or he can make sure that this round is a draw. One of those is basically impossible to reliably do, but at least you got more options. I would also like to point out that as Glyph has been knocked down twice finally in the middle platform, it has broken up enough that the trampoline is out. We are now in a zoner's paradise, and Pr1nc is going to be reaping the rewards.
Oh, we love to see it.
Heading into one last round. Start off with a clean 120 damage. That is good positional opportunities. Ooh, we're getting juggled though, and that is a guaranteed EMP opportunity off the trampoline. Glyph being very aggressive despite how dangerous it is to be on that trampoline. You saw how long he's just left vulnerable if he gets knocked down while he's on that trampoline. If he gets caught out again...
It's almost so long, it's an eternity for Pr1nc to just make whatever move he needs to.
Pr1nc also has a superior rush, so if Glyph is too aggressive on this trampoline, Pr1nc can just press the rush, punch down the Burchugs just like that, and pummel him into 260 damage.
Both players being so much more aggressive in this round, more than any of the other three combined. You can tell how hungry they are to get the win for this round.
Pr1nc is actually doing a very solid job of keeping up his tempo. He is just focused on his game plan. He's not playing to beat Glyph's game. He is focused on making sure he is doing what he needs to as a Sprintron, and that's one of the most important things to do as a Sprintron. Your game plan is so much more important than your opponent's, because if you're playing your games well, you get those EMPs. Not going to walk away with this win, but, I mean, he's gotten really darn close, and it is now 1 apiece for these two players.
And now we're going into round 3. We will end up going into a round 4. I'm very interested in seeing if we end up getting into a round 5 with these two players.
This would be set 3.
Well, I mean, this is set 3, but
yes.
It will.
I see what 4. You mean. There has to be a set 4.
There has to be a set 4. Will we get a 5 out of these two players? That's what I want to know. That's what I want to happen.
You know what?
I am loving watching these two.
I think we're gonna. This just gives me set 5 feelings. They're going back and forth. I would not be surprised if we saw Pr1nc come up with a new strategy and handle this matchup a lot better. He has the free reign of stage pick as well, which means he could pick somewhere that works super good for Sprintron. Or we could go back to Mausoleum.
Yeah, I don't think we'll end up seeing the Mazo play, though, with Pr1nc. See, there we go. We're looking at Sparring Ring. Even more constrained and confined than what Mazo is, with no trampoline.
I wouldn't say this is a good Sprintron stage, so I'm expecting a change, but he is going to stick to his guns. He is making Sprintron work, but it's going to be that much harder to get those EMP moments, because now he can't even have the distance where it's like, okay, my opponent can't attack reliably. It is literally just hard reads and rush EMPs.
This for a Sprintron main is truly just a skill flex. If you can pull this off against a Cobra's mobility and the spread with the popper there, nothing but a skill flex.
Oh, absolutely. Looking at the current matchup, it is relatively even. Glyph holding on to a light lead. Gets a chunk of damage. So close that the grab actually still counted as a punch.
And Pr1nc has his rush up much sooner than that Cobra does. When will he pop it? There it goes. There it is. And he gets the hit.
Manages to get the
Both
EMP.
Still very even, though.
Just barely in time. He is going to have to
Oh, and he evades!
Ooh, good catch! Needed those 2 plays to get back in the game, but he is at basically Pixel now, and he is out. As Glyph gets one more read, as that Sprintron leaps into the air. Cannot shield in that situation, and you can't dodge a Burchug that tall.
No, no, you cannot. No, especially not as Springtron.
Ooh, good timing with the deflect. Manages to get a quick 130 hit with the toaster. This is a really good time to be pressing pressure as well, because anytime he gets a charged toaster hit while Glyph is trying to build rush, that actually takes away from his meter. If you look closely at that meter whenever he gets hit by a charged toaster, it actually will go down just that little bit.
Pr1nc seems to be very in his groove in this matchup right now, just constantly chipping down and pressuring away that Cobra, using his deflects constantly, making sure that there is no room for what Cobra wants to do.
He does get the KO, but I'm honestly worried about this next round. He might have got the point and he needs it to advance, but he is not in a good position. He has a third of the rush needed to, or half the rush needed to be able to utilize rush. Glyph can just pop it right from the get-go, immediately in a much stronger position, and you see he is immediately capitalizing on that by locking Pr1nc into a corner, getting a rush confirmed, gets the restand, and finishes off, leaving Pr1nc with a very weakened shield. Hopefully he can recover it before too much pressure comes in, and he does. We do get a 250 counter rush. Glyph is still a bit in the lead. A charged toaster will even the odds, though. Glyph now with a weakened shield. He has to be careful. Best way to recover is just to not punch with that arm. Let your shield heal up a little bit. You can see it right there. That charged toaster stole away some of that rush.
And Pr1nc back to dancing with those deflects, just not letting Cobra have any room, but can't quite get the groove now. We are neck and neck though. Both players have that rush up. It really comes down to who's going to have the better timing with this matchup, if they even need it.
Oh, he catches the read with a grab. Glyph not ready for a response.
Fantastic read with the grab. Fantastic.
And that is going to be another win for Pr1nc. Setting himself up 2-1. He got that flex.
He got the flex, and I'm glad he could. I am glad he could, because we're going on to set 4. And I'm really interested in seeing if they decide to go onto a more open stage that is just not going to be as restrictive as Mausoleum or Sparring Ring has been so far for the both of them.
It is a good strategy, but even if it's not necessarily Pr1nce's greatest strength, it is Springtron's biggest strength, so it kind of balances out the playfield, where Pr1nce is really good at pressure. Even with a character that, like, I mean, no disrespect to Springtron, because with Deflect, you can pressure well. I've seen people point-blank EMP their opponents in the face, and their opponent just crumbles, because they're just panicking. It's beautiful.
Yeah, no, for sure. Especially with how easy it is for Pr1nc to just go and dash around stage and constantly have that solid timing on the deflects, to where what you're doing doesn't matter, because Pr1nc does not care. Pr1nc does not care about the arms that you are throwing out, because he will deflect them.
Yeah, and he needs to. He really needs to as Springtron. Because if he's not getting those deflects, Springtron's just so slow, so clunky. He is
so vulnerable.
He is just an open target, unlike Springman. But when you get him going, he works out so well. And when you're able to kind of figure out how to play and move around as Springtron, it's easy to quickly realize that there's actually a lot of situations where you don't need the higher speed. You just need the ability to make those minute movements, those simple, very precise decisions. Springman gets the Enrage at 25% health, which gives him permanent charge on all of his attacks, which is really accessible for a lot of people. He's also a lot faster. But then Springtron, if you can get those reads, if you can get those moments in setup, you can get even better situations, and Springtron moves way faster. And then you still got the deflect.
Yeah, like, whereas Springman, you know, has a boost when you're down. If you are a super technical player who is 100% comfy with the movement of the game, Springtron doesn't have an immediate boost, but it is just that boost to that technical level of skill. That once you can pull it off and be consistent with it, it is a rough matchup for just about anybody.
Indeed, indeed. And then, yeah, who needs to say more about Kid Cobra? We're going to anyways, because Kid Cobra is hot. Very fast character. Has the best jumps in the game. Sorry, Ribbon Girl. He can just... While she can stay in the air longer, he just has these big sweeping movements that make him arguably faster than some of the fastest characters in this game, with just how he can get his dash into a jump and he just swings.
Can you imagine a world where Cobra is just 5% fast? Just 5%. That world terrifies me.
That's a world where he gets banned. That's when we actually start having a conversation about, is Kid Cobra too good?
What if we get Arms 2, only change to the game. It is just Arms 5% faster Cobra.
Look, if you want that, you can talk to SNG. I'm sure he can mod it for you.
No, I don't want it. If that's what it ends up being, I am boycotting day one. I say publicly on Twitter before I pre-order it.
Understandable, understandable. We are going to be moving into our next game. We are heading back to Mausoleum, as Glyph is making one more change to Dr. Coil. Speaking of characters that have been considered for ban, Dr. Coil is by far the best character in this game.
And especially with her level of movement against Pr1nc3, this is going to be a very rough matchup for him.
Mm-hmm. A lot of it too
seems like he's not letting it bother him.
He's keeping it steady so far. I believe once Glyph kind of starts to find his momentum with Dr. Coil, it's very likely that he will be able to overwhelm Pr1nc3. So it's a lot of a game of, can Pr1nc3 take Glyph out before Glyph gets the momentum he wants with Coil?
That's true, because even just looking at the previous matches with where Glyph has been playing Cobra, it is such a monumental mental mind shift that you have to make going between those two characters.
Yeah. A lot of this too this is a very different game where Kid Cobra, you can have the game plan of breaking the center platform if they're being too aggressive. Dr. Coil, she don't care. She legitimately don't care. And especially, it's going to be even scarier when she's got a nade instead of the Tri-Blast. Tri-Blast is really good for aggressive pressure, but against the slow-moving Springtron, I don't think you need that spread-out coverage. You just want the impact. You want that boom. You want that control to really make sure you are getting those shots. And we are immediately seeing a change of tempo just because the nade cannot be punched down like the Tri-Blast could.
Yeah, absolutely. And with Coil playing it really close to the center too, there was an element there where that middle stage just was not going to end up breaking, but with Pr1nc3 trying to push in towards that center and get her out of there, we may end up seeing that center trampoline area break. And if there's anything Pr1nc3 does not want, it is that. But both players currently have rush up, and we'll see if Pr1nc3 can clutch this up, because he is one little chip damage away.
Yeah, he almost got perfected and is trying to claw things back. Barely gets a bit of damage, almost gets the shield break, But now, for that investment, if he gets knocked out here, Glyph is in a huge advantage for that risk. I do not think that was a wise call. He was desperate to try to bring things back, and I respect that determination. But now he's got a coil with full... Oh, he steals it away! Never mind. Never mind.
I love seeing some textbook disrespect in the evening. I don't know about you, but there is just something about it.
Just getting a read like that is beautiful. Getting a catch like this. That first game was so scary. He almost got knocked out. And then at that final moment, he was warmed up. And now we're seeing he's kind of warmed up to how Glyph has started to get that momentum. And he's putting Glyph back on the back heel once again. Gets the KO with a final grab. And that is going to be it on set 4. Glyph will be winning 3-2-1.